Beekeepers, Jenna here from Mann Lake, here to bring you the October edition of the Beekeepers Buzz for the North region. So let's talk about what you need to do with your bees during the month of October. So as you'll see it in my hives here, I've got my mouse guards on. If you have not already put your mouse guards on, you need to get them on. As our temperatures drop down below freezing, mice are going to be looking for a nice warm place with lots of food to last the winter, and the perfect definition of someplace warm with lots of food is your beehive. So get your mouse guards on to keep those mice out. It can be a pretty important month for your overwintering, as this can be a pretty big transition month for your bees. And a lot of it is really going to depend on what happens with the weather this month. So September, beautiful fall weather. It was honestly perfect weather, 70s, sunny, intermittent rain. So there was still quite a bit out blooming for our bees. But as we get into October, you're going to notice a lot of that forage start to go dormant. You might be able to see behind me some of the leaves are starting to turn. So we are really starting to feel like fall. The mornings are cooler, but the daytime temps are still really nice. So the most important thing for your bees this month, as that forage does start to go dormant and dry up in the fall, is make sure you are feeding your bees. You might notice a little bit more activity if you've got any sort of hummingbird feeder out there or flowers up by your house in pots that are still blooming. Your bees are going to be out there and actively looking for food because there's not a lot out there for them. So it's going to be very important that you are feeding a 2-to-1 sugar syrup or Pro Sweet. So make sure you're feeding that inside the hive. I like to use one of the Pro feeders this time of year that takes the place of 1 or 2 frames in the hive, specifically because it's easy for the bees to access. It's nice and close to the brood nest. So feed your bees this time of year. Now, as we transition into even cooler temperatures, you really need to start thinking about, when should I stop feeding my bees? When should I stop offering that liquid sucrose for them, that syrup? And the answer is going to be when your daytime temperatures are 50 degrees or below. You don't need to offer that syrup anymore. They're no longer going to consume feed in that liquid form. So as we get towards the end of October or even the middle of the month, depending on what Mother Nature decides to do here, you're going to take your syrup out of your hives and replace it with a winter feed. So remember, feed your bees until it's 50 degrees or lower for your daytime hives, and that's when you're going to pull your syrup. It's really important to pay attention to what your 10-day forecast is looking like, and if we are going to see some cooler temperatures, get into your hives and open them up and pull your syrup and swap your feed out before you hit those cold temperatures, because you really don't want to open up the hive if it is quite a bit cooler. Then also start looking forward to what are we going to be doing in November. So November is the time when our temperatures really start to drop, and again, it depends all on timing and weather and what Mother Nature decides to do. But we need to start looking forward to, what am I going to do for moisture control in my hive, and am I going to wrap my hives? So definitely for us in Minnesota, in those far northern climates, we wrap our hives just to provide a little bit extra insulation. But at the same time, you have to find a balance between keeping the hives insulated and moisture control. So think about what your plan is going to be, whether you're going to put a quilt box on, use a moisture board, or even try one of our hot boxes along with your winter wrap. So as you can see behind me, we've got some leaves that are starting to turn color. The last time I was out here in the bee yard, there was a lot of trefoil blooming, and all of that has pretty much kind of dried up. So bees are going to be out there and they're going to be looking for forage, and there just really is not a lot available out there. So you do need to supplemental feed your bees this time of year. It's really important that a double deep hive is going into winter with around 80 to 100 pounds of stores in there. So a good check that you can do is to just go to the back of your hive and try to lift. If you can't lift it, your hive has plenty of stores. So let's just check these couple of hives here real quick. This is my hive number 12. I can just barely move that, so I'm still gonna feed, but I'm feeling pretty good about the weight of this hive. 13. I was able to move this one a little bit easier, so I'm going to make sure to get some extra feed on this hive here. Yeah, and 14, I'm not able to move that one at all, so I'm pretty confident that that hive has plenty of stores going into the winter. To wrap things up, if you don't have your mouse guards on already, make sure you have them on. Make sure you are feeding your bees this time of year. Make sure it's, like I said, offer Pro Sweet or a 2-to-1 syrup. You want it to be a nice heavy syrup with a high percentage of sugar or solids in there, so your bees don't have to do as much work to dry it down to store it in the comb to get ready for winter. Having a lot of uncapped comb in the hive can lead to some moisture issues, so making sure that they've got plenty of stores, checking the weight of your hives is going to really prepare them for next month when you're wrapping things up and putting them to bed. So thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, certainly put them in the comments. We've actually got some fun new resources for you to check out as well. If you haven't already, Mann Lake has a beekeeping Facebook group where we do troubleshooting Tuesdays. You can post your questions, pictures of your hives, and get experts advice from Mann Lake employees as well as your beekeeping community. We are also doing TikTok lives every Thursday at 11 a.m. Central. You can tune in with Steph and Kim, and there again, ask your questions and they will answer them live for you. And as always, you can give our customer service team a call. They are happy to help you out with your wintering strategy, and ask Bella, the beekeeping assistant, on our website. Thanks and have a great day.